In this video, I'm just going to be going over two examples for how to solve some compounding interest questions when we don't know the rate or you're trying to find the rate. All right, so we're going to read our question. We're going to find out what numbers are assigned to our formula here. We're going to plug them in. So you're investing $10,000 today. So that's called your principal. That's going to go in for P. And then you're going to do it for 40 years. So that is the time. So that's going to be going in for T. And it says you want to have $100,000. So the 100,000 is the A. It's the amount that you want. Okay. Sometimes this 100,000 is referred to as the future value. You want the future value of the money, in this case, to be 100,000. And sometimes this 10,000 is referred to as the present value. So you might, if you were to, look at some practice problems or look up stuff on your own, you might see this as PV for present value, and then you might see this 100,000 as called future value. And so we're going to plug those into our formula. So we got A, which is 100,000, is equal to P, which is 10,000, times 1 plus R. We don't know what R is. We're raising it to the T, which is the 40th power. Okay, first step in all of these questions is going to be dividing off this number in the front, this 10,000. So divide both sides by 10,000. I'm just going to put 10K for 10,000. Save me some time. 100,000 divided by 10,000 is 10. And then on the right side, we just have our 1 plus R to the 40th power. Now when we get to this step, you have two options as to how you can undo this 40th power. And it all depends on, what you've learned in Algebra 2. The two options would be doing the first option, which I like the best, would be take both sides of your equation and do it to the 1/40th power. That sounds crazy. But if you do to the 1/40th power, you have a power to a power rule with exponents that says that if you have a power to a power, you multiply them together. If you multiply 40 by 1/40th, you'll get the number 1. And so you'll have a power of 1, which really means you don't have a power there anymore, which means we just got rid of it. What is 10 to the 1/40th power? I don't know. That's why we have graphing calculators. So just take your graphing calculator. Mine's glitched out here, so sorry that this screen's a little lower than it normally is. And we're going to do 10 to the power of, and put your 1/40th in parentheses like this. All right, so we get that number. We get 1.059. So we'll round that. We'll round it 3 decimal spots. So 1.059. Let's go back full screen here. So we get 1.059. And again, my 40 and my 1/40th canceled out. So now I just have 1 plus R. So I'm solving for R. My only step left is to get this 1 to the other side. So I would be subtracting 1 on both sides. And when I subtract 1 from this number, I'm going to get just 0.059. If you wanted to write that as a percentage, it would be 5.9%. Right? So I did say there were two different ways that you could do this step here. So the step that I chose to do is do the 1/40th power on both sides. The other way is to use a root, or a 40th root. And how you do that on the calculator is you need to be taking the 40th root of 10. And that is typing number 40 in, going to math, and going down to the one that has an X in front of it. All right, so that would, this would indicate a 40th root. And you want to do that for 10, 40th root of 10. And you'll see that it's a mirroring image here. It's exactly the same answer. So if we do the 1/40th power to both sides, it's the same thing as doing the 40th root. So pick which one you like best. All right, so there's your example there, 5.9%. It's really not that much. That's not a very high interest rate. Next question, last question we're going to do here. You invest $100,000 in the stock market today. So that's your principal balance. You do it for 35 years. That is your time. And to retire, you're going to need $1.5 million. And so we got to figure out what interest rate do we need to get so that we can make sure we retire with $1.5 million. $1.5 million is the amount that I need. It's also referred to as the future value. So we're going to plug those numbers in the formula. We get 100. Let's put some commas here. It might help a little bit. 1.5 million. We got 100,000 for P. we got 1 plus r to the power of t, which is 35. Okay, first step is to divide both sides by 100,000. 2, 3, 5. 100,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And so you might need to use a calculator to do this. Should be 15,000. So 1500,000 divided by 100,000. Should be 15. Perfect. That's what I expected. So the left side here is just the number 15. Maybe could have figured that out. If you divide stuff that has lots of zeros, you can, I feel bad because it's not how the math works out, but you can cross these zeros out. And if you see, you get 15 over 1 left. And so your answer is 15. Or just use the calculator. What we have left on the right side is 1 plus r to the power of 35. Okay, then to get rid of the 35, we can do the 1/35th power on both sides. All right, it doesn't matter to me that you know what 1/35th power even means. Just be able to type it in the calculator. So we're going to take this left side, do 15 to the 1/35th power. 15 to the 1/35th, like that. 1.080. Doesn't round up. 1.080. All right, so 1.080 is equal to 1 plus r. Again, these powers up here, they canceled each other out. They made 1, essentially. Then subtract your 1. And so when you subtract 1, you'll get 0.08, which is 8%. All right, that's not 8%'s not too hard to get. It's not too hard to get 8%. The stock market on average will make about 9.8% per year. So this is pretty obtainable. This is probably going to happen because if you need 8% and the stock market's getting you 9.8%, you'll probably end up with more than 1.5 million in this case. But that's the math. That's all I have for this video.